I want to share these verses with you that are from verse 13 to 18 of Surah Al-Hujrat. So let's bring this up. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Beginning with يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. That people, indeed we created you from a single pair, a male and a female. And there is this, there is this binary that people need to understand that they, and I feel I'll come on to this discussion later on, but Allah is showing that through this harmony of, let's say, metaphorical opposites, what we've got here, ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل, and we made you settlements. We made you a sha'ub, which is plural of sha'ab, a settled people, cities, towns, folks, civilization. وقبائل, rural people, farmers, hunter-gatherers, foragers. We made you these different people spread out in the earth. But then Allah tells us a secret behind that. Why? Why these lita'araf? So that you may come to know one another. The experiences, the stories, the legacy of each other. Lita'arafu. Then reminding you that keep in mind, inna akramakum indallah, that the most noble, not amongst yourselves, not the king, not the politicians, not the celebrities, that they may be noble amongst you. Akramakum indallah, according to God, atqakum, those who are most mindful of God, that have God consciousness. Now there's some interesting verses that come straight after this. قالت الأعراب آمنا, that from this teaching us about almost our, one could say, an origin story, but the trajectory of insaniya, that we may come to know one another. We are dependent, we are interdependent species. And then reminding us that, look, there's such a joy and a pleasure in getting to know one another. But always in doing so, you might end up becoming arrogant. You might end up harming people, oppressing people. Remember that God consciousness. And here, this is what matters according to God. Not how much money you make, not how many followers you have, not how much influence you have, not how many sports cars or mansions or properties. What matters to God is your taqwa, your mindfulness of God. From that, it takes us straight to, okay, so when speaking of God, what is our relationship with God? And here's an example. قالت الأعراب آمنا. These people, these kind of hardened, they were, here it's using the example of Bedouins just as this is a placeholder for people whose hearts are still, they're developing, they're on the journey yet. قالت الأعراب آمنا. You see, amanna here is about we have faith, but it's being said in a way that as if we have arrived. अबे हम तो पहुंच गए हैं. قد وصلنا. This is what these people are thinking. They are on the journey, but they're saying we have arrived. قالت الأعراب آمنا قل لم تؤمنوا. Right, that you've got. Sorry, let's let the plane go past. That Allah is saying قل لم تؤمنوا. You have not. See here, it's not, Allah is not negating that they don't have faith. But what it means is in terms that باعتبار المآل or بأواخر الفعل. That in usul you have a principle, and Abu Bakr ibn Arabi explains this in his usul, and many people do, that هل الأفعال بأوائلها أم أواخرها. That when you use an action, a verb, are you using it in terms of its completion or in terms of its beginning, inception? So this is a principle in usul al-fiqh. If we said, so if I said, oh, yesterday at 8 o'clock, I ate. So does that mean I began to eat at 8, or does it mean I finished eating at 8? So there's a debate amongst the usuliyin here. So here, when Allah is saying, lam tu'minu, this is not about, see, because the same way you could speak about an action, eating is obviously a relatively rapid action. But let's say there's something about excellence, something about faith. There is a beginning and an ending. Just as Allah says in the Quran, وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ. About Jesus, they did not kill him, they did not crucify him. Now, one of the ways to look at that is that doesn't negate that he was put on a cross and crucified. It means they did not successfully, in terms of the ma'al. The ma'al is the consequence, the end result of that action. That was not accomplished, not the beginning of it. So if let's say I began a degree, but if I did not complete the degree, I don't have the degree, regardless of whether I did 1.5 years or I did 2 years. If I don't complete it, I'm not considered as somebody who has it. So similarly, with verbs in usul, you have this issue. So lam tu'minu, you do not have faith in terms of its completion. You do not have it. وَلَكِنْ قُولُوا أَسْلَمْنَا. But say we have submitted. Why is this being said? Because to submit is to begin the journey. And that is where you are. you are just at the beginning. I mean, there's a long way to go yet, but it's a beautiful journey. It's a mesmerizing journey. But it's still a journey ahead of you. وَلَمَّا يَدْخُلِ الْإِيمَانُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. This lamma means not yet. Okay, it's an archaic use. It's not used in modern standard Arabic. وَلَمَّا يَدْخُلِ الْإِيمَانُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. And iman باعتبار الكمال, باعتبار المآل, باعتبار the العواقب, in terms of the end result. That imanul kamil has not yet entered your heart. It is not to say these people weren't Muslim, but this is what it's addressing. وَإِن تُطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ لَا يَلِتْكُمْ مِنْ أَعْمَالِكُمْ شَيْئًا. Allah, inna Allah ghafurur rahim. See this, there is and if you follow, if you obey, if you listen, if you have this love for God, for his messenger, لا يلتكم من أعمالكم شيئا. This isn't going to decrease you in any harm. decrease you in anything from what you're doing. Your project continues. It's interesting. People, they say, well, people struggle with faith, and they say, well, faith, if I believe, what is the purpose of this? What does this do? What does that do? If you do, لا يلدكم من أعمالكم شيئا. You will see all people with faith recover from illnesses much sooner. They cope with tragedies in life in a much more healthier way. They overcome many hurdles and challenges in life. They find meaning in life. لا يلدكم من أعمالكم شيئا. There was that debate where an atheist, in this case Susan Blackmore, where she was saying, well, nothing really means anything because everything is just random and coincidental, and so nothing means anything. And by that admission, everything she is doing or we are doing means nothing either. So by that admission, it can't be wrong, since wrong is, even if a person did believe, it can't in a meaningful way be wrong, because wrong is not a meaning. It is simply the coherence or the incoherence, alleged incoherence within a structure of which there is ultimately no coherence. You're just saying that this is just something within this game, but none of this game means anything anyway. So how does, even by that argument, faith, you may, in a very small relational aspect, you may say, well, oh, this doesn't make sense. But since meaning holds no meaning, there are no meta meanings. So what difference does anything make ultimately? لا يلدكم من أعمالكم شيئا. You see, from your actions, the things you do, it does not take away, it will only add meaning, flavor. Inna Allaha ghafurur rahim. From this scene, this landscape of people now, this portrait of some people who are beginning this journey of faith, they're mistaken. They think, oh, I'm at some maqam, I'm at some height, some summit. Allah is reminding them, humble yourselves. That, it's quite a trek yet. It's quite a trek. I mean, enjoy, but it's quite a trek. That. So what's the Dilli Hanus Durast? There's a proverb that Dilli yet remains quite far. That it's quite a trek. Enjoy yourself, but it's quite from here. One may ask the question, well, how does faith truly integrate in one's life? You're given a description. إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله. That sure, complete faith, kamil, as close to perfection as one may possibly attain, is that one has faith in Allah, in His Messenger. ثم لم يرتابوا. They are not perturbed, they are not disturbed by these wavering doubts or by these things, that they have their story. ثم لم يرتابوا وجاهدوا. They strived بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله. And this jihad is of all its manifestations. And Ibn Jarir at-Tabari, he explains that, he writes that as well, that the struggle is of all kinds, of the ego, of countless, anything that brings a person closer to God. And it has its, he mentions that it has its military manifestation. And that may have been in a particular time the most salient feature. And in another time, there may be a different salient feature of it. That's subulullahi kathira. Anything that takes these paths that lead back to God are many, manifold. And here it mentions jahadu bi amwalihim, with their wealth they struggled. Wa anfusihim, and their self, and this could mean, it could mean from to the extent that they were prepared to, where Islam was under attack, where they were prepared to give their lives. This is the utmost a person would do in this world from a worldly perspective. Or you bring it back to the everyday. And the nafs is what? Wa anfusihim is the ego. Because that's the same word in Arabic, nafs. See, bi amwalihim wa anfusihim. And their egos. It begins right here as well. This is the everyday. This concerns every single person, this one. And it's for all times. And it's always happening. So, بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الصَّادِقُونَ. Right, now, what's interesting is following that, we go straight to the verse. So you've got this, a definition, a description. Okay, so we've got that. We've got an understanding. This is what faith can look like in one of its its complete manifestation. Remember, these are those people who are at the summit, at the pinnacle of faith. Okay, that they are people prepared to, give it all for God. So then Allah brings us back to reality with people we meet every day, with ourselves. Maybe this is us looking into a mirror now. قُلْ تُعَلِّمُونَ اللَّهَ بِدِينِكُمْ وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَاللَّهُ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. Allah says, do you teach God about your faith? People sometimes, they say, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why is God doing this to me? I've done this, I've done that. You teaching God? أَتُعَلِّمُونَ اللَّهَ بِدِينِكُمْ. Allah says, يَمُنُّونَ عَلَيْكَ أَنْ أَسْلَمُوا, that these people are doing a favor unto you, that they have embraced this path, this faith. يَمُنُّونَ عَلَيْكَ أَنْ أَسْلَمُوا. That they claim, it's as though they are doing a favor unto God. Ya Allah, I prayed, I used to pray and fast. How could this happen to me? Atamunnu ala Allah? Are you doing a favor unto God? Yamunnuna alayka an aslamu. They're doing a great favor. The hubris. Sometimes we think, where are we? I'm such a great person. I'm so holy. I'm doing all this for Islam. You ain't doing anything, mate. There's nothing going on. Whatever you're doing, it's only for yourself. يَمُنُّونَ عَلَيْكَ أَنْ أَسْلَمُوا. قُل لَا تَمُنُّوا عَلَيَّ إِسْلَامَكُمْ. Allah says, tell them, keep it. Rakh lo yaar. You know, you're all right. You can have it. Keep your faith. لَا تَمُنُّوا عَلَيَّ إِسْلَامَكُمْ. The reality is, بَلِ اللَّهُ يَمُنُّ عَلَيْكُمْ. Truth be told, God, this is by giving you, guiding you to faith, this is a favor unto you. Your life has become enriched. Your life has found more meaning. Your journey has become easier. You have found more of a narrative to extract strength from. You, this is all you. Balillahu yamunnu alayka. You see, Allah is showing favor unto you. Balillahu yamunnu alaykum and hadakum. That Allah brought you to this. In kuntum sadiqin. Allah. If you really think about this, if you are truthful in your evaluation, in your expression, then yeah, Allah, by guiding you to this, and sometimes you have been guided through adversity, sometimes you've been guided through struggle, sometimes your life is a mess, sometimes there's all kinds, you're at rock bottom. So be it. Why has Allah done what? Get yourself up and get moving. It is what it is. Yamunnuna alayka and aslamu. They say, but Ya Allah, but I prayed. La tamunnu alayya islamakum. Your faith is for you. God doesn't get anything out of us doing things. You want your Jannah. You want your blessings. You want your you. Abe, did you do it just for God? At what point did you worship solely just for God? When wasn't it that I want this, I want that, I want an increase? Rabbi zidni fi hadha, zidni fi dhak, atina fi dunya hasana, fil akhirati hasana. Give us. It was always, it began and ended with us. So when we find ourselves in a dark spot, when we find ourselves stuck in a rut, when we've hit rock bottom, when we're drowning in tragedy, we have to get up, we have to swim out of it, we have to keep moving forward. Allah has given us that strength in that faith. But Allah yamunnu alayka and hadakum lil iman. That maybe this, whatever it is, and some are tested through blessings. Some are, it's interesting that some people, they only have privileges and they live in a perpetual discontent. You see all these celebrities, all these social media influencers, all these people, I'm depressed, I'm a drug addict, I'm this, I'm that, I can't cope with reality. Millions and millions of people adore them. They've got fame, they've got money, they live in, making multi-millionaires. But they have discontent. That's their struggle. You see, but Allah guides to faith by various means. See, that's their journey, that's their script. Let's see how they do. Let's see how they deliver on this stage of life. Allah. But it reminds us never to hold anyone in contempt. Don't. Everybody is fighting a difficult battle. True, some more difficult than others. لكن لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. So, but we should never look down on people. Never think if we can't help them, then if possible, just say a fleeting kind dua for them. Ya Allah, help that person. Ya Allah, give that person more. You want to come face to face with the ego. I tell you, this is the trickiest thing. And I'm telling you, try this sometimes. Sometimes when somebody has something and let's say they're a friend or they're a person, a friend is even easier, but you'll see the ego at play. Just on your own, try to make a quick little dua, say, Ya Allah, give them even more. Oh, that person would be like, you see, this isn't even really about the other person. It's about yourself. That if you can do it, it's try it sometime. You'll see how difficult this struggle is. Allah ends this verse with reminding you, see, because how difficult is this struggle? Inna Allah ya'lamu ghayb as-samawati wal-ard. Wallahu basirun bima ta'malun. And Allah, you see, He knows, He sees the unseen. He knows it. And Allah is indeed all-seeing of that which you do. That which you do in secrecy, that which you do behind closed doors, that which you do when you say a little prayer for someone that you don't even think needs it. Allah is all-seeing. You see, you say something like that. Remember, Allah, when one of the most, you see, how do I, to capture this? We ask according to we ask and request in accordance with our status. Allah gives in accordance to His own. It's true though. And this is even in the dunya as well. That you see a person, if they, in fact, I was listening to this this story of this person, this beggar who comes to one of the Abbasid kings, and he does something, and he says, "Sure, ask whatever you like," and he asks for something so small and petty. He's just like he says, if I could just have, he asked for something so small, like if I could just have a very small portion, a tiny little thing of rice or something very small. And the king, he says, he kind of instructs for him to have, he gives him this immense reward of all these. He's obviously in this story, I mean, this is at the end of the story, he's giving him all this kind of these dinars and all this kind of money, and his advisor says to him that, what are you doing? Like, he just asked you for a tiny portion of rice, like not even a bowl, a tiny portion. He said, yeah, but he asked in accordance with his status, and we gave in accordance to our own. Apna style hota hai yaar. Person. So keeping that in mind, you see, when a person making a prayer for someone else, you will see the barakah of this in your own life. You will see the floodgates of rizq opening up. There is not a, see, you can't ascribe a causal relationship to these things, but you could define it by what in Jungian terms, or some psychologists refer to as synchronicity, that the coming together of events.